Well, ever since then, the NJC has issued a statement. They did say that they gave conditions in terms of, they spoke about what transpired, how no judicial officer should or shall be invited without due process followed. And then you also have the judges themselves speaking, saying that they perceive vendetta on the part of the AGF, reasons why their houses were raided. And then this morning, as you also may have seen in the dailies, if you saw our opening sequence, how some of the papers actually did say, again, presidency backs DSS. That report from them saying the DSS acted within the law. And then now we're joined by Mr. Muyiwa Sobo, who is a legal practitioner, to weigh in on this matter. Thank you for coming on this morning.
Thanks for having me.
Well, an interesting debate because, I mean, if the judges have said, no, this is vendetta, the report from the president says, no, we acted within the law. The NJC also speaking up about this one. I mean, some even quoted the AGF saying, go to court if you feel hard done by. What's your impression of this?
Well, my impression is that the AGF should not have said something like go to court if your rights are violated. The thing is the prevention of violation of rights, especially as I will give my own international perspective into this. Privacy, the right to privacy, is such a huge aspect of civil liberty in any democracy. And if you look at what happened here, you cannot deny that rights to privacy was violated. If somebody is sleeping at 12 a.m., you kick down the door, you broke things down, disturbed the whole neighborhood, and we're saying, well, if you feel that your right is violated, then go to court. I think that's a wrong approach. Where I practiced law for so long, that is the United States, I'll give that perspective. There is something they call, you cannot enforce the law by being unlawful. When you do that, any evidence that you obtain will not be admissible in court.
Is it the reverse here?
It's not only the reverse, it's worse.
No, but they said that, yes. The way you acquire evidence may be questionable, but it doesn't mean that the evidence will not be accepted in court if it's valid.
The evidence is not valid if it's illegally obtained.
That's where you practice abroad. What about here?
Here, I think there was a case that I read and said, no matter which way you acquire the evidence, is admissible. And that is so much against civil liberties in a democracy. Why? Because people must have the right and the confidence that they are safe in their homes against the power of the government. You know, the government is very powerful, as we have seen here. Somebody just say, I watched the DSS person interview and say, well, we've been monitoring these people for so long.
7 months.
For 7 months. Is monitoring of lifestyle admissible evidence in court? We're not saying anybody is above the law. But if I look at your red tie and I think you cannot afford it, is that admissible evidence in court? Without anything more?
Could it be that perhaps it was for want of words? If you use the word monitoring for 7 months, it means perhaps they've been investigating, they've been following up, checking out, and say, I think they also talked about the fact that their lifestyle, they're living above their means.
Let us just examine that. For you to monitor anybody's lifestyle, there must have been a complaint somewhere. You just don't wake up one morning and say, oh, well, look at that judge. He's driving around in a Rolls Royce. Let's monitor him. That would be, you just don't bring up things like that. Somebody must say, well, look, I bribed this judge, I gave him this money, or something like that. So it is a violation of civil liberties when you just look at somebody and say, well, his lifestyle is this and that, and then we're going to monitor him, and based on that monitoring, you go and break down his door.
You know, we also had this conversation, and we don't know the actual circumstances with which that door came down.
Well,
but the Administration of Criminal Justice Act 2015 also they say that you can execute a warrant any time of the day.
Yes, you can.
So if they predicate their action on executing a warrant, and by the way, we also do understand that I think one of the justices they said that his lawyer actually came before he was arrested, and his lawyer was reported to have said that the warrant was in order, and then they could execute it.
Yes, I understand that. But if you look at what actually is a search warrant, why do you need a search warrant? Two reasons. One, prevention of destruction of evidence, or where public safety is actually involved. Now, if there has been if you've been monitoring people for several months, okay, now what is the exigent circumstances that will lead you to go and break down somebody's door or enter any place at 12 midnight? They have not articulated that. They have not told us what evidence is being destroyed. Were you informed that this judge had 50 million naira in his possession that you must seize before he destroys it? What formed the basis of the investigation is what I'm concerned about. And if you cannot find the basis for the investigation, everything seized under that in that process will not be admissible in advanced democracies. That's what I'm saying.
Now that's the interesting part, which we'll pick up on when we return in just a moment. Do join us again.
There are many countries of the world where corruption isn't the problem. In some countries, it's natural disasters that is their problem. So they sit down and decide, how are we going to fight natural disasters? How are we going to deal with this? In our country, corruption is an existential problem. How are we going to deal with it? And frankly, for me, I think that we really need to continue to build that consensus around how to ensure that we deal with this properly. With respect to the judges thing, I'm unable to make any categorical comment now. I'm expecting a report today, on what was done, how it was done. That report will be shared with the government officially and all of that. I'm expecting to see that before I can even make any. I don't want to make any off-the-cuff remarks on this. But as a general position, my position is that we are dealing here with an existential problem. It accounts for everything. The reason why, look at what happened in the Northeast. 20,000 people have been killed so far in the Northeast. Soldiers, many soldiers lost their lives. Speaking to some of the widows of these soldiers, you are just outraged by the fact that people embezzled the money that was supposed to have been used to equip the soldiers, equip them physically, give them bulletproof vests, put them in proper armored tanks rather than fake armored tanks. These are the sorts of things that anywhere else in the world, the outrage will be such that you and I will literally be standing up on the streets to say, where are these guys who did this? And if we don't feel that way, it just continues to diminish us. It diminishes us each time.